Welcome back, fellas. We had an exciting weekend. Our first MMA show. How you guys doing so far?
Great. It was exciting. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think most of the time I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But I know 3 of you guys got to watch every fight from start to finish. So,
Oh yeah.
Best seats in the house, right, Clayton? And boss, you owe us each a new white button-down shirt because of bloodstains. Clayton, pass it over to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It was like they said, anytime we could get a 90% finish rate, like come on. That what more can you ask for as a fan, right? When you're as a fan, you look for finishes. As a promoter, you pray for more finishes. So wonderful weekend overall. And gentlemen, I did say off camera that I had a little bit of a surprise to kick off the show. If you guys could check in the Discord chat and pull up what I just dumped in there for our viewers, please. This kind of ties into something that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you got to meet him, huh? You got to meet old Eddie George.
I did. So yesterday I show up to the rec center. For those of you who might not know, Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George was just hired as BGSU's football coach like three weeks ago, something like that. And I'm at the rec center yesterday, right? I'm hitting legs. And I look up, and there's this dude that looks like a football coach. Like, he has, like, a wind shell on, sweatpants. And I'm like, that looks a lot like Eddie George. And then I pulled up a picture on Twitter, and he had the same goatee. And I was like, okay, that's totally Eddie George. So I'm doing my thing. He's walks off the treadmill, walks away. He was upstairs, and I was downstairs. And I was like, all right, whatever. That was kind of cool. And then later, I went to fill up my water bottle. And as I'm walking back, I saw him there, and I was like, hey, coach. And he turned around, and I was like, man, I'm a huge fan. Can I take a picture with you? And he was like, yeah. So he did.
Nice.
Just a crazy chance encounter. But, hey, I've officially met a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
Good day. Good day.
That's awesome.
Lucky you. Oh, I bet Kevin is still a little scared. His Toledo Rockets might have some fierce competition coming up in football season.
Yeah, that does not bode well for us. And I'm a little jealous, Clayton. The closest I ever got to Eddie George was ordering a burger from his restaurant. So,
oh, man.
But speaking of some finishes, we have a fighter here with us today that was part of that 90%. We have Bryson Jones.
And yeah, here he is. How we doing, Bryson?
Doing good. How about you guys? How about y'all? How y'all doing today?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. We got to watch a weekend full of great fights, including yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Bryson, that was your debut in MMA. What was the feelings like?
First, I was very, very nervous. Leading up to it, I trained with some real hard guys. I made sure that I got broken mentally first during my fight camp and then physically because I wanted to secure my first sanctioned fight win. So,
yeah, indeed you did. Yeah, I can tell you were training hard. You came out pretty hot in that first round. Yeah, you was ready to throw down.
Yes, I was.
Was that part of your nerves there? Because I promise you this. No matter how long you fight, you're always going to get those nerves. Always.
Well, so I thought at first he would have touched my glove, but he didn't. So I wanted to knock him out.
Felt a little disrespected there.
I love that.
Well, with your finish, it was still kind of disrespectful. A mounted guillotine, that's still kind of disrespectful. So it might not have been a knockout, but you got him.
Oh, looks like he froze.
I think we lost him. Uh-oh.
Well, we'll wait until he comes back. But in the meantime, like I said, that's just what's worse than getting knocked out. I guess a full mount guillotine. I mean, that's a heck of a way to submit somebody, especially for your first fight ever.
Yeah, he like I said, he came out swinging. He was looking to fight. And now I understand why he probably felt a little bit disrespected, not touching that gloves coming out. And then they end up getting up to the ring, and then he mounted that guillotine. And that first round, it was for like a solid minute.
Yeah,
trying to get out.
And you mentioned the fast start to the first round on the commentary table. We were talking about the quick start to that second round. He went at with a flurry of combos, first with his hands, and then right before going for the guillotine, threw a heavy knee and got it on pretty quickly. It was almost as if, all right, that first round we almost had it. I think we can get it this time. And he just went for the throat, metaphorically. But yeah, that was one of the more entertaining fights of the night, and we had a ton to choose from. It was quite a difficult task to try to pick a fight of the night. You know, when you guys were wondering which highlights we'd bring, it was like, man, how do you choose them? But that one being a debut as well, I thought was especially impressive. And Clayton, what about you? Any extra thoughts? Oh, it looks like we do have Bryson
All right,
back.
guys.
There
I
he
lost
is.
connection.
Nah,
Yeah,
you're
all right.
All right.
All right, but you got what were you saying again?
That you disrespected him with a mounted guillotine. That you might not knock him out, but you still disrespected him doing it that way. You know, and
Yes,
speaking of that, how about we take a look at it? How about we look at this highlight of what you did, and we can kind of talk about it here.
Yeah, this is in the first round. After we play this clip, I want to see what your thoughts were going through your head in this moment.
If Dylan gets a takedown, he needs to get his legs cross-body to the other side to defend that guillotine.
Couple body punches from Bryce Jones.
Big takedown there from Dylan.
Bryce gets.
Yep, Dylan needs to pass these legs and get out cross-body here to go for look for a Von Flue choke, one of my favorite chokes. That's a tight guillotine.
And it's looking like that's under the chin.
Dylan's fighting.
Wow.
Dylan's fighting. It's tight, but he's fighting.
What a scramble.
He's fighting it. It's deep. That could be it. Dylan's tough, man. He's not letting it go.
He's still fighting.
He's fighting. His right hand's still moving. Looking to get under his leg there.
A minute 44.
If he can survive this is going to drain a lot of energy out of Bryce's arm, squeezing this guillotine. Wow.
Wow.
What defense from Dylan Parn.
Yeah, he might have had that defense then, but at the start of that second round, you wrapped him up in there and you finished him off in 34 seconds, doing the exact same thing that we just saw there. What was going through your mind when you were sitting there and you had it in the first round? Were you thinking, I'm gonna get him with this in the second?
Yes. Soon as I had it, I was like, oh yeah. And then he was trying to fight me off him. I was like, well, I go off this saying, this is what my foreman says. He says, if one man can hold you down, then two can,
I knew where you were going the moment you started that quote.
Famous quote.
So when I realized like, oh, he can't fight off his back, then I knew this is how I'm gonna get him. Forget a knockout. I want a submission. I just want to make a statement. My first fight, like, hey, you can take me down, but I have a submission for you.
Yeah, still dangerous even if you get taken down.
Yes.
Did you think that you were gonna put it away in that first round?
Yeah, I for sure thought I was gonna put it away that first round. I heard him squealing and stuff. And then I also heard the commenter say, if I hold on too long, I will tire my arms out. So I let it go. And then ground and pound.
I see Kev, Clayton, things you say does get up there and they can hear you guys.
That's
so
awesome.
I get worried about that sometimes. That was Connor there with that advice. That's funny though. You never know who's listening from the commentary table.
Yeah, seriously.
You get indirect coaching and some blood showers.
Bryson, why don't you walk us through how you even got involved in MMA? Like, I know you're training at Demolition right now, just had your first amateur fight. How did you get to the cage on Saturday?
Well, so Gary put me in a few charity events, and I did really well. And then I got recognized after I kickboxed with Jeremy Balboa, and I held my own pretty well. Really solid guy. And then Rex too did really well with him. And then it was mainly after me and Jeremy had kickbox. So I got told that I'm fighting March 22nd. And I was like, well, let's do it. Sign me up. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. And Saturday night was my time to shine and show everybody what I have, what I've been training for, and accomplish my goals in life.
So how did you come across Demolition?
Jimmy. I used to, I still train at Iron and Soul, but one day he had came out to the gym and then told me that I'm pretty good and I should go out to Demolition and get some fights from there and train up with them guys because they're killers.
Yeah, that's one reputation that Demolition has. They're tough guys there.
And I'll tell you, there's nothing like that first fight win. There's no matter what you do, even if you win a belt, even that's going to be a feeling that you'll remember forever. That very first win that you have. So cherish that and take that with you because that'll fuel everything else that you've got going in the MMA world or anything else combat sports that you're going to be involved in. So congratulations on that win.
Thank you, sir.
Nice. So are your plans to be like real active as long as you're healthy, just get in that ring and get experience?
Yes. I want as much experience.
There we go. Shout out Q. Thanks for tuning in, Q. We'll talk about your win in a little bit. But Bryson, when can we expect to see you back in there? You know, we got a couple shows coming up here in Ohio. I'm sure there's some going on in Kentucky. When can we expect you back in here?
Sometime around May. Definitely May. That's when Gary wants me back out there. But yeah, as soon as possible.
That's awesome.
Right on. I might know some things going on in May too.
There we go. Love the sound of that. You mentioned some goals, and I know you just told Wade you plan on being pretty active. So what are some of those goals that you have for the near future?
Okay, so I at least want 10 amateur MMA fights. I want as much experience before I go pro because I know right now not really much of the wins and losses count. Mm-hmm. But once you go pro, that's when it matters. And my goal is right now, I'm just taking it one step at a time. Just so fight after fight and try and see how many heads I can hunt. It's like a conquest for real, making my way by force, taking it by force.
See, yes. I love that you mentioned that. Get as much experience as possible. I think people are too caught up on their zeros as an amateur and not utilizing what the amateurs are for. That's not going to count towards anything when you go pro. So just get in with anybody and everybody at the top level. So you're in every situation. So nothing's new when you go to pro.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you and if you have that mentality, you'll be surprised the opportunities that'll come to you as well because you'll have this fight that you just had, and next thing you know, you might get a call like, "Hey, guy backed out. We need someone in a week, 2 weeks. You willing?" And it sounds like you've got that mentality where you're like, "Yeah, put me in, coach. I'm ready to go. I don't care who they are."
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Good. That's a good mentality to have in this sport. You got to have that.
It's a fun game. It is a fun game. It's a fun game.
Yeah, definitely a game. I mean, I always looked at it as 3D chess. That's the MMA world. Because you've got so many different things you got to look at. You got to worry about the stand up. You got to worry about hands, kicks, takedowns, and then once you're on the ground, you got a whole nother world you got to worry about down there. So even cage wrestling right there. So there's so much you got to think about. So much and that's another reason why you want to take as many opportunities as you can as an amateur to take all those fights, because you're never going to know what situation you're going to be in. And that's the only way you're going to get experience is getting put into situations that you're not used to. And you'd rather have that as an amateur than as a pro. Because when you go pro, like you said, that's when those wins losses count.
Yes, that's exactly when it counts. And I want the best record.
So you have you just training at those two gyms? Are you traveling anywhere else and training there? Are you open to going other places and training with other gyms?
I'm open to go to other gyms and train with other gyms, but right now I'm at them main two, just because I'm very comfortable with them and it's where I've been for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I know I want to travel out more, get more experience, and train a lot more harder and tougher guys. That way I can take more and have it for myself, make it my own.
Now, is there any particular style that you like training more in? I mean, are you more of a jiu-jitsu guy, more of a boxing, stand-up guy, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestler? What is it that you really want to kind of focus on right now as an amateur to get better at?
Right now, because I know we're here in Ohio, a lot of people are going to attempt to take me down. So definitely a lot more of my cage grappling and stuff. I want to get a little bit of freestyle wrestling in. That way I can do some nice tosses, get some better highlights and stuff.
Yeah, there you go, wrestling. Something Zach don't know about.
Zach loves wrestling.
Don't give me that.
Clayton, you got any more questions?
My only question for you, Bryson, is how do you see the rest of 2025 going for you? Like, are you thinking, obviously we've talked about you want to get back in there quickly, but December 2025, where is Bryson Jones?
Hopefully top 3, number 145. Yeah. We're going to push it, shoot the gun, and empty the whole clip. And yeah.
Do you have like a goal of how many fights you want to get in this year? I mean, I know you'll want to do as many as you can, but what do you have an actual goal of how many fights you want by the end of this year?
Before the end, 5 at least 5.
Are you mainly looking to keep those as MMA bouts? I know some guys, I know you mentioned doing some kickboxing and other things in the charity events. I know we've worked with some guys when we had the kickboxing series, and we see some folks do some amateur boxing as well. Are those some things that you'll be looking at doing, or are you mainly trying to stick just to MMA bouts in 2025?
Jump between both, 5 MMA, 5 boxing.
Okay.
Very nice. Okay.
Stay real active.
More experience and stuff.
That's good. That's good.
Love that. Well, we'll probably see a lot of you then. Sorry, Zach.
No. Go ahead. I was just going to say that basically the same thing. That's good. You're going to be active in multiple different things, working on that. Now, would you go out and maybe possibly do some jiu-jitsu stuff then, since you do want to work on your ground game? Would you join any jiu-jitsu tournaments?
Yeah, I've been thinking about going to another Naga, but I don't know.
Oh, another one.
Yet.
So you've done one already then?
Yeah, I already done some jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff.
And how'd those play out for you?
Well, I didn't win. I got submitted one time, but the rest I controlled them. But that didn't matter.
No, it's good experience. And when you're first starting with jiu-jitsu, it's from my experience, at least, because I'm not good on the ground, you can ask Wade, is survival. It's survival when you're a white belt. It's just you're learning how to survive and learning how to defend is basically what you're doing when you first start off. At least in my experience, most people I talk to, that's their experience as well.
Yeah. Thing with grappling though is like you just got to get in there and get experience because you're gonna feel your body. You're gonna feel how people's hips shift and how your hips shift to control. And it's really like a big feeling thing rather than, I mean, you can drill all you want, but to be in the live situations is just totally different. It's best to get just experience with that.
Thank you, Raven.
We'll be talking about his fight a little bit later as well. Now, do you guys have any more questions here for Bryson?
No, I think I'm good. But Bryson, this is where we turn the floor over to you. Do you have any sponsors, any teammates, anybody you want to shout out?
I want to shout out my whole team because we all went out there and we did our job. We handled business and we brought the dub home pretty much.
There we
Yes,
go.
you did.
There we go.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to jump on here, and we just love giving you guys a platform to promote yourselves. So appreciate you.
And again, thank you for jumping on our card for Carnage Fight Series 1. It was an exciting card. You made it even more exciting with your finish in the second round of 34 seconds. So again, Bryson, congratulations on your first MMA win, your debut, and you took that home the win. So congratulations. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You
Thanks,
too, bro.
Bryson.
So yeah, great kid. I think he's got a bright future up ahead of him. You know, first fight, having a submission like that, like kind of like we talked about before, that's a heck of a submission to have in your first ever fight.
Yeah, I mean, I love his mindset too. Not enough fighters start out with the kind of mindset he has. Like, just get experience. I don't know. I gotta stress that every single time. Just get experience. Don't forget about your own.
Yeah, it was perfect. We talked about that during the event, how important that can be, especially at the amateur level. Take those hard fights, the results, what you learn in those 3 rounds will be much more important to you down the road than whatever your tally is. And as we know, when we call pro fights, once you're there, not that much attention's paid to your AMI record anyway. So once you're there, you're there. And when the bell rings, it's go time. So we can't hype that mentality enough. Just take those fights, get in there, learn what you can. And we had quite a few young men with that mentality on this wonderful card. We had a lot of marquee matchups, not the least of which, as if on theme here, the very first one, guys, right? I don't know if we're diving right into the review, but you want to talk about a young guy taking a tough fight against an experienced fighter and the amount of takeaways that he will have after that 3-round war he went through like that. And I'm talking about Will Chow and JD McNett. That is going to be so beneficial to Will in the long run, to all of the stuff that he can apply later with what was almost like 8 minutes of grappling those two did. It felt like it was very early in every round it got to the ground.
Yeah, it was totally different of what I was expecting that fight to be. They were more measured and more tactical rather than just going out there swinging. And like you said, there was some great grappling.
Yeah, because we were used to JD knocking people out. We have film of him knocking people out in Ego Fight Series.
Yes.
You know, so that's what I was expecting. I was expecting some hands, and then he came out and showed his grappling skills. And, you know, that could have also kind of come down to, I mean, he was cutting weight to the very last minute. You know, he was the last person to weigh in because he had to cut some extra weight to make sure he got down to the weight class that he needed to. But he did, and he came in and he showed up, even though after a weight cut like that, especially day of, that's tough on the body. And he went and grappled for that long. Got to give him credit for his cardio.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Will Chow, he showed some great jiu-jitsu. Like, he was putting up attacks from his back. He was just not just sitting still and just taking it. He was trying to find different angles and attack.
Will's got a great rubber guard, man. Like, he wasn't just getting laid on and giving up. He was throwing up submissions. Saw a lot more strikes in the second round than the first round, but started getting the hands going off his back. There was no quit in Will Chow. Like you guys said, I'm happy he took that fight. I think that'll really benefit him because in a year he'll probably have 3 or 4 more. He'll look back on that and be like, okay, I got taken down. Happens. That's something that I know I need to work on now. So this is like, I would also like to point out, guys, this is like the one fight that we called that was like, oh, guys, guaranteed to end in a finish here. Somebody's going to sleep. And then this was the only decision on the show.
Only decision.
Good job, team.
It started off good because it was still a good matchup, and then the rest of the night. Well, and then our second fight was Bryson Jones and Dylan Kearns, and we just talked about that a little bit, but we want to hit that real quick. If you guys have anything else to say about that second bout of the night.
Yeah, I was gonna say he came out swinging. I was wondering why, like it wasn't nerves or anything, and come to find out it was because he felt disrespected. And he was like, I'm trying to knock your head off. And it switched to, I'm going to choke your head off.
And he did. He did do that multiple times. And so then we go to the third bout, which was Colton Hensley versus James Gibson. And that was a submission, rear naked choke in the first round, 43 seconds in. So it wasn't it was one right after another submission here. The next round submission there. What was your guys' thoughts on that bout?
Shout out Colton Hensley, man. He traveled pretty far. I believe he was from Kentucky. I think he trains in Louisville and drove up here. James obviously trains at Demolition. We know that Demolition travels pretty well, generally speaking. And Colton came to fight. He came and caught him in that choke. Even James said, I heard James say after the fight, "You got me, bro." Like, what more can you say after that, right? So I was very impressed with Colton Hensley personally. He called for a title shot at 170 afterwards. I like that fight. We'll get into Braden Benson's win here in a little bit, but I think that fight would be very, very entertaining. Would love to see Braden Benson defend his belt on our next show.
Yeah, he had a lot to offer as an amateur because you talk about the quick finish, the good technique, but he also came out. What's his nickname, Clayton? The hash
slinging slasher. Shout out SpongeBob.
And he came out in a Happy Gilmore jersey and then cuts a promo asking for a title afterwards. That's pretty close to 5 tools right there, right? You're out there selling yourself and putting on a good performance. You're in enemy territory. Doesn't matter. Enjoy. Revels in it, and I agree with Clayton. I think that would be a good matchup there for that 170 bout. But that is not my job, and I'm happy to say that.
Yeah, it's not much to say on this one. Hensley just came in and did work in like a minute. So
took him down, choked him out.
That's a perfect fight in my book right there. And all right, let's tee up the next one next week. Let's get the next fight.
He said, "What's next?"
So then going from there, we had a rematch of Sean Freeman versus Austin Roberts. And it got done in the first round again, another first round submission. Standing guillotine choke, 1:06. What's your guys' thoughts on this rematch?
Yeah, I was watching it back. It was smart for Roberts to come in. He came in looking to wrestle and grapple a little bit more and get close, which is smart on his part because Sean Freeman definitely had a clear reach advantage over him. But Freeman just I can't remember what happened. It was up against the fence.
Up against the fence.
That
was like right in front of us.
Yeah, it was right in front of you guys. And he just ended up getting that net.
Yeah, Austin Roberts shot for a shot. Sean Freeman made him pay. Good for Sean Freeman, man. He also cut a great promo after the fight, called out Caden Hastings. That's another fight that we called over on the Renegade Rumble series of fighting. And right now, that is the only fight booked on the Bowling Green show next month is Caden Hastings versus Sean Freeman, part 2. Very excited for that one. Those are 2 pretty good. Sean Freeman's definitely more of a stand-up guy, in my opinion. So getting to see him stand up again, I think will be pretty fun.
It will be. That guy just likes to rematches. He wants to get back at everybody. Well, he won. If I'm not mistaken, he beat Caden, or did he lose? No, he lost to him.
He got knocked out.
He's looking to get some revenge. While this last one, he'd won against him before. So he, like you guys say, it's hard to beat a guy twice. Well, he just proved you guys wrong.
He did it. He did it. He did it a different way too. He choked him out instead of knocking him out. So.
Well, there's a first time for everything, but I also look forward to the rematch. Those are two fighters that I love watching. So Freeman versus Hastings too is going to be phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say or not much for me to add, at least, other than if you're sensing a theme of guillotine, just stick around. But wait, there's more.
Well. And then from there, we go to our first knockout of the evening, Seth Peoples versus Dalton Limes. Now, we do have, let's look at the highlights before we talk about it. And here is that highlight, gentlemen.
Two debuters here. Ooh, big leg kick there from Seth early. Another leg kick.
That's a
big hand.
string, right? Oh, Lime's got one in of his own there, though.
Big shot landed from Seth. Limes looking to use it for a takedown. Good defense there from Seth. That's loading up that right hand.
Yeah. Oh, nice left from
I can tell you that right hand hurts. I've been hit with it. I'm sure those knees don't feel good either.
Oh! He's and that to it. What a knock.
What a knockout that was. I mean,
the commentators are hyped when we all three peak and get muted. That's
he spun him around. He hit him so hard. I mean, he did a 180 and fell that flat on his face.
Yeah, you don't see guys stiffen up like that. That doesn't happen very often. And that, we kind of saw it. Connor kind of alluded to it in the commentary, but he was really kind of loading up the right hand. Like, you could tell he was almost pulling it back and trying to launch it forward like a slingshot, and caught him.
Right down the middle.
Yeah.
Right on the button, right? We've seen it before. Sometimes it just takes a couple or well-timed, well-placed. And for what it was worth for Dalton's side, at the very beginning, early on in that highlight, nice stiff left jab. He got a couple of shots in early. But that was one of the better knockouts that I've seen. Definitely this year, but in my tenure here at Carnage, that was very impressive by Peoples.
I think personally, that's an early contender for Ohio MMA News KO of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it's March, I get it, but guys, like I said, we don't see dudes face down, ass up, stiffen up. Like that. It doesn't happen very often. So congratulations to Seth Peoples, man. That's a great way to kick off your debut, and Dalton Limes will be back too, I'm sure.
Sure.
It happens. It's your debut fight. Both of you are just kind of in there swinging. That it happens.
Yeah, they came out the fight because from the start they're just swinging, and it was like inevitable for someone to just get knocked out. And
I just want to point out that this was my original fight of the night that I had said it was going to be. Two debut boys going at it, and I said it's going to be the Seth Peoples and Dalton Limes fight. And
Seth Peoples has a performance bonus. He did not have fight of the night. Just throwing that out there. Throwing that out there. Definitely KO of the night, in my opinion. That
one of them because we've got another one
great
that
finishes on this show. But like I said, just the stiffness, straight up muscle. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Vanilla Gorilla, by the way, Connor was trying to push that during the show. That's got to stick now, right?
I think so. You get a nickname and then that happens. It feels like there's a little luck behind that now. That's got to get some momentum.
I agree.
We need to make some t-shirts, Kev. We need to make some
There you go. Yes.
And that right there, then that was the prelims of the evening. And then we go into the main card of the night, and starting us off was Juan Silva versus Keyshawn Osborne. And this one didn't disappoint either.
This is a close second for KO of the night.
It was a KO. They even tell us it was a counter left hook that took him down. In the second round, 1:48. I think we've got some highlights of that. Let's take a look at this knockout here, gentlemen.
Always a good time when the big boys get in there. There's an early low kick from Keyshawn Osborne.
I was going to say orthodox southpaw, but Silva switches stance there right as I was about to say it. Chin high, both guys.
Osborne with another leg kick.
Looking to take out them long legs, Juan Silva. Smart game plan, but Silva's got the kicks right back.
Another good inside low kick from Juan Silva, but answered quickly by Keyshawn Osborne.
And a straighten. That slapping, like almost hammer fist from him.
Might knock him over. Spinning back fist attempt.
I would like Osborne. He's getting Silva's back up against the cage a lot. I'd like him to aggress, shoot for that takedown. But he's eating big shots here from Silva, but he's fighting back.
It almost looked like Keyshawn was going to look to cover up, but he's back in it.
Yep. Left hands.
That's what you like to see. A nice 1-2 there. He continues to work from behind the jab.
Oh
my goodness.
I just want to say that disrespect at the end. Let me knock you out and then go
push him down.
I love it.
See, that was probably my favorite KO, just because lead left hook knocks him out. He's like, "Hey, let me help you." Push the back of the head.
Keyshawn was out on his feet. Like that left hook was pretty clean. Like that, man. Like we've seen Juan obviously in MMA once, and we've seen him in boxing like 3 or 4 times now. Definitely more of a stand-up guy. So to see him in the little gloves land a left hook like that was pretty remarkable. I love that.
My only notes for Juan after that fantastic KO is next time, could you please not do that right after I say work behind the jab? It's like, how about a lead hook instead? Shows what I know. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to sell this thing, man. You got to act like I know something. No, but a great knockout. That was a very entertaining fight. Those highlights do a great job of illustrating what that entire bout was like. What we got almost through 2 rounds with that one, right? And the thing that was fun about Osborne was a very unorthodox striking style. I mean, there were times where he was kind of coming forward with hammers.
Like a hatchet hammer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he tried that spinning back fist, and I was like, oh, he was coming in orthodox for sure.
Hey, sometimes that pays off for you, being that unorthodox style that no one's really used to seeing. When you're used to people being very technical in front of you, and you start throwing stuff from different angles that you're not used to seeing them come from, it'll get you. It'll get you.
Oh, for sure. I can't remember. Clayton, do you remember in the UFC, Korean Zombie? Was it Ilya that came in like with a weird elbow?
That was Yair Rodriguez.
Yair, that's what it was. Yeah, it was just talk about unorthodox. They're in there, and he just comes up like a 6
Nobody
to
throws
12.
reverse elbows from that angle.
A 6 to 12 elbow.
He does.
Yeah, he did that one time, and now he's going to be in the top 20 forever UFC KO forever.
Rightfully so, though. Rightfully
so.
Seriously.
That's about as great of a finish as you can ask for, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the craziest thing, too, is Juan Silva's a southpaw. I think he was just switching over, and he just happened to be with his dominant hand first. And so that lead left hook had a little bit extra oomph in it.
I actually ran into his cornerman after that, and he was telling me, I was telling him he needs to stay in southpaw. And I'm yelling at him, stay in southpaw, and then boom, there goes a knockout. And he just goes, well, I guess do what you want.
Yeah, see, I know how it feels, right? See, me and Coach are on the same side here. Shows what we know.
Yeah, seriously.
But that was a great knockout. I feel like that was a, kind of a little disrespectful, but still equally amazing, just shoving him down like that.
Hey,
that is a highlight forever. And then, so we go on to the next bout, the number 7 bout of the evening. Alex Ryle, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, right? Ryle, versus Cole Weimer. And Alex got a KO, TKO from punches in the second round, 1:21. What's your guys' thoughts on this one?
Great fight. Great
Yeah,
fight overall. Both guys slammed each other in the first round too, that was incredible, dude. Like anytime I can feel the cage kind of shake from where we are, I'm like, oh damn, that guy, he meant business when he was throwing that slam, and that happened twice. I don't know how the heck he would score that first round. It was so close. Very competitive both ways. Both guys landing strikes. And shout out to Cole Weimer too before we get into Alex's win. He's a tough dude. He landed a couple good shots. Like we said, he took Alex down. But Alex Ryle took this fight on like 3 days' notice. And he showed up to fight, man. He got another slam in the second round. I think it was in the second round. He got another slam and ended up finishing it. That was a great performance. I wish we would see him fight a little bit more. He's got 2 fights so far. But I am definitely What's up, Alex?
What's going on, buddy?
Good win, bro. Good win. That was
Great
fun.
win.
We'll actually be seeing him on the podcast next week. He's going to be joining us for an interview next week at 7:30. So we'll be able to hear a little bit more about that and this fight from him. So there's also that to look.
Let's go. I love that. Yeah, all I can do really is retweet what Clayton said and then just re-emphasize how impressive it all is on, what was it, 3 days?
Yes,
I mean,
I believe that's what Connor said was 3.
Zach, forgive me if I'm setting you up here, but I'm not sure what your shortest notice was, but can you just kind of share with the audience what that is like to take within a week to take a fight? You've had no camp, you have no opportunity really, I assume, to get to know your opponent. What is that? How is the difficulty elevated by doing a short notice fight like that?
It really depends on your mentality, because if you're going to do that, you're going to have a tough mentality already. So you don't care. You just don't. You're just like, I'm ready to fight. I've been training. I know I'm ready. I'll take on anybody that comes in front of me. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of how Alex took this. And when he took that fight, he was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I'm ready to go right now. I've been training. I'm in shape. I know I can beat anybody they put in front of me. So that's got to be your mentality. At least that would be my mentality. Unfortunately, I didn't have to take fights on short notice. I couldn't find fights, period. So that was my problem. But yeah, we can ask Alex that next week too. What was going through your head on that point? But I'm just gonna assume that he was gonna say, yeah, I've been training. I'm ready. Let's do this. Screw it. I don't care who it is.
Which all amateurs should have that mentality.
I agree. I promise you this. If that's your mentality, you will get on a Carnage Fight Series card. I promise you. You
Absolutely.
will. So come to us if you've got that mentality, because we'll love to put you on our shows.
Makes for great fights. Some have confidence in there. You see what Alex did.
Exactly. And he got some good experience from it. Not too much, only about a round and a half, but some experience is better than none.
Yeah. I mean, there's some great exchanges, great grappling in that for the amount of time that they were in the ring. It was a good bout.
It was. And then we move on to our, I guess you could say, main event of the Amies. The 8th fight of the night. It was for Carnage Fight Series' first title fight at 170 pounds. Brandon Benson versus Nate LaRocco. And let me tell you, this was a fantastic fight. I mean, ended in the first round, but it's very fantastic. 2 minutes and 36 seconds in the first round, to be specific. What was your guys' thoughts on this amazing fight and belt win?
I was very impressed with Braden Benson. I got to know Braden a little bit. I listened to his interview with David McKinney before the show, and I would encourage everybody else to do the same. And Zach, we got to get this dude on the podcast. Like he was a great interview, man. I was very, very impressed with how he did everything there, and he showed up and took care of business. Former collegiate wrestler, took Nate LaRocco down, which that can be dangerous in and of itself because Nate's a jiu-jitsu guy, but did a great job at securing the win. Once he got on top, he kind of reminded me of Brock Lesnar a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of short punches and like chest to chest grappling scenarios. But I was very impressed with Braden Benson, man. Moved up to 4-1. And yeah, Braden Benson's definitely made a fan out of me. I'm ready to watch him fight again for sure.
Well, I will reach out to him and see if we can't get him on the podcast here in the next few weeks. I'm sure I'm hoping he's willing to jump on here and talk a little bit about his win and what he has planned. Maybe even get him set up on a title defense. Because he did get called out, and I kind of want to hear what he has to say about being called out. You know, even before he won the belt, he got called out. So I kind of want to get his thoughts on that.
Yeah, Clayton, I was impressed with Braden too. He got that takedown, which I thought was going to be a little bit risky because Nate is good at jiu-jitsu, and he had absolute control of Nate the whole time down there. And I like that he was looking for damage too, not just trying to control him. He was going for the damage and just creating opportunities.
Winning by hammer fist is what he won by. Just a smash, like you said, Brock Lesnar style. That's totally Brock Lesnar style right there, hammer fist.
That was another one that was like right in front of us too.
Yeah.
Are you complaining? Do you want me to tell the fighters to take the fight away from the commentator corner?
No, but like we'll
I just want a poncho
later at this fight. Yeah.
It's like the front row at SeaWorld.
Yeah, seriously.
He said, just add some change to the bucket for some new white shirts.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Taking tips.
I'm going to start to leave a jar behind us, Kev, so when people walk by, like.
Yeah, donos or uniform donos. But no, it was a great title fight. Our first MMA title. So I guess, I'll ask you guys as the bookers. I mean, you couldn't have much better than that as far as your first title match, right?
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, the whole card was beautiful. And honestly, I can't complain. Everybody came to perform, but this was a beautiful fight, especially for a belt. He was almost too excited for me to get the belt on him when I tried to strap it on him. He was raring to go and ready to lunge out at anything. I was like, let me get this belt on you. Come here.
Beautiful belt, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And we can also thank Key Realtor Keller's team for that belt. So again, shout out to Key Realtor Keller's team for the belt. We appreciate you guys sponsoring the belt and the whole card. So again, thank you guys.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, Key Realty has your back. See, I've got it. Those reads stay in my head for a few days, fellas.
Fun fact, the Key Realty team, Keller, who trains out of Deadbush, helped me get my first house. So.
Hey,
great team.
That's my customer.
Great team.
It does work, folks. It does work.
He had your back, didn't he?
Yep.
So then going on into the pro bouts of the evening, we had Chris Porter versus Jeremy Balboa, ended in a submission guillotine choke. There it is. There's that guillotine we got warned about again. In the first round with 2 seconds left on the clock.
Yes.
2 seconds.
We got a clip of this, I believe.
We do. Let's take a gander before Wade gives.
Take a look at the end. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Crazy pass. Spinning back kick, and Boa's going to turn into a single leg.
And he does get hit down. However, Chris Porter pops right back up.
Porter looked at spinning back kick for Balboa. Love to see that. Nice check there from Porter. He'll slip there off the head kick. Goes Balboa now, though, switching stances.
So many kicks.
Nice body shot there to Joe. Really?
Okay.
Big knee to the face.
He's got it. Is it locked in?
Now he's got an arm and guillotine, very hard to finish.
Oh my goodness, what a finish.
And that's it.
My question to you guys was that ref right to stop that in that position.
I think he said he was grabbing the fence. I couldn't hear it super clear, and I didn't see it on the broadcast at all. Like from the angle they were kind of off to our left. So like we couldn't see. I couldn't tell. I don't know. If you're gonna stop it, in my opinion, you either need to warn him or take a point. That's one guy's opinion. That's one guy's observation. Just in the amount of fights we've called, that's something that I've kind of seen. But that's his choice, you know. And Chris landed a crazy knee right before that guillotine. Like,
Oh yeah.
If he would have just let Jeremy fall and then jumped on him, he probably could have knocked him out too. Like that was you don't. That sounded like a baseball bat.
It looked like it was to the liver too. I think, yeah, liver shot. That hurt him.
I think it was to the face.
That was to the face.
Oh, I was talking about like before that.
The spinning kick.
And that was Jeremy.
Wow, they both had spinning kicks.
Oh no, there was a hook to the body that hurt Jeremy. That's what.
Okay.
That hook to the liver, I think, really started to open up Jeremy a little bit, kind of keep him back a little bit, and then he ended up getting that grappling exchange on the fence.
Well, I'll be honest. Jeremy, I've never seen Jeremy get pushed back like that before. Jeremy's normally he's the one who normally initiates the battle. He normally is the one who steps forward and is throwing the hands, and he seemed very, very defensive in this fight. Not normal of what he does. I mean, at least that was my take on it.
Yeah, he's usually pretty forward pressure, leading with the wrestling. And he didn't have that forward pressure as much in this fight. I don't know if it was due to Chris Porter. He seems like not wild, but like a measured kind of wild. You don't know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And if that played a factor.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. I haven't seen any of Chris Porter's fights, but according to David, because David called that fight too. I mean, he even said though, but he thought it was going to be some wild submission that was going to happen, if I'm not mistaken. He got the submission part right, but guillotine was not that wild thing this evening, because you got 3 of them on the card. That was the submission of the evening.
Well, that guillotine just fell right into his lap, though, because after that knee, man, I was sitting behind, switching and producing the show, and that knee hit, and I was like, hit a Joe Rogan real quick. I was like,
I looked away when I heard it. My neck snapped because like, what just happened? I was like, oh, right in the face.
Man.
Yeah, even calling it came out of nowhere, because we're having a moment at the table of trying to figure out why it was separated, why it was stopped. And before we can even really ascertain what is going on, it's boom, knee to the face, and then guillotine. And the other factor, guys, 2 seconds left on the clock. So there's always that chance, there's the potential there, if you're Jeremy, probably maybe kicking himself a little bit, that, maybe I could have, these fighters would always want to go. So even if he did take a pretty solid knee, he's probably thinking, well, give me one more round, give me another chance. But Chris gets the finish. It beats the bell on that one, and a very impressive win still. But yeah, that was a wild way to end a fight.
Yeah, that was a great co-main event.
Yes, it was. And, thanks to both of them for stepping up and battling that out, because that was great. I can't say anything other than it was great. I mean, I don't know. I got any other words for it. It was amazing. And speaking of amazing,
on the back on it.
Yeah. Whoever put the card together did a good job.
And then speaking of great and exciting fights, we go to our main event: Quentin Richard versus Caleb Contreras. Now that was a great fight. It went 2 rounds, and it was a submission by armbar.
Man, pace that they came out and just kept fighting at was insane. I was not expecting that kind of pace out of those guys.
Oh, I was. I mean, just because of the mentality. I mean, after interviewing them, and especially Caleb, like Caleb kind of had that mentality. I'm coming in, I don't care how tough this guy is. I'm coming in to swing. I'm coming in to hurt him. I'm coming in to win this thing. And I feel like he did come in with that mentality, and he demonstrated it. It was just, Richards was just better than him in that sense. He just was calm, collective, did what he needed to do. I mean, he was bloody afterwards. I mean, you saw him. I mean, he was just covered in blood from the striking, and Quentin had to take it to the ground to finish him off. I don't know if Quentin, if it was just a stand-up match, I don't know if Quentin would have been able to handle him for 3 5-minute rounds.
Yeah, yes, I understand your perspective on that. I was thinking that would just be more measured, like kind of setting them up, more of a chess match rather than just coming out. They just coming out to fight.
Even after having some of that ring rust, think about it in that sense. He's been off for how long? So it's almost as if it's kind of like a debut in my sense. That's kind of how I was going to think of it. It was kind of a debut in a sense, not really. But when you were laid off for that long, those nerves are going to get to you, and you're going to come out almost swinging like it's your debut again.
Yeah, I can see that definitely. Actually, we did see that. But there was also high level jiu-jitsu there. There,
yes, on both sides.
On both sides. Great defense, great attacks.
There were a lot of wild grappling scrambles tonight. That's something that I don't feel like we've touched enough on. There was a lot, especially here in Ohio. We get a lot of wrestlers. Like Ohio's a big high school wrestling state. You're going to have that. But I was still very impressed. And this fight was definitely kind of the pinnacle of that, in my opinion. Both of these guys were fighting off their back, throwing stuff up, reversals. We saw I have never seen Q get taken down before.
Yeah.
And Caleb took him down. Caleb took him down and beat him up for a little bit. Yeah, I was very, very impressed with Caleb Contreras.
Yeah, I was too.
Might as well jump into this story now, I guess. So second round, they're standing up, and Caleb threw a big right hand over the top and caught Q, and Q's nose exploded, and he kind of turned to the side, and I just saw the fireworks, just it was like it was in slow motion for half a second. But long story short, Kev and I both have white shirts in the trash right now. That was fun. That's not the first time we've been hit with blood, but that's the first time in a while, I guess, would be.
It won't be the last.
It was the
welcome
most
to Carnage
blood
Fight Series
so far. At least it didn't get on my phone this time.
And it missed my tie too. My girlfriend really likes that tie. So.
Somehow that was perfect. Yeah, it was
split my shirt perfectly. It was on both sleeves, both sides. Missed my tie. We're good. That's all we could ask for.
Maybe you guys need to start wearing red shirts.
That's honestly not the worst idea I've ever heard before.
Take it from Deadpool.
Yeah, there we go.
Either that or do a Joe Rogan. He wears all black now.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah, that kind of it. Yeah.
All black is kind of my style anyway. So, and then if you ever need us to grab a camera, we're already production ready.
Yeah. But I wanted to touch more on that wild grappling, because were you guys a little bit confused of what happened when Caleb tapped?
Yes, I was. From what we saw, and Kev, correct me if I'm wrong here, but from our table, it looked like Q had Caleb's arm, and Caleb tried to front roll out of it, and Q just wouldn't let go. So it almost kind of looked like he tapped midair.
So
yes, that's what I saw.
I did not know. Yeah, he did tap midair because he rolled right into it and blocked his own arm, and so he kind of buckled down and tapped. I didn't catch that until I was editing earlier today, and I was like, "Oh, that's what happened," because he went to roll out of it.
Yes, you do, Q. Yes, you do.
Can confirm.
Can confirm.
All love, bro. All love.
Shout out to Q and now he is 4-0. So still undefeated as a fighter. AMI and pro. So congratulations, Q, on that.
That's wild in and of itself, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like nobody outside of our little Ohio sphere is talking about that, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you got a 4-0 guy, jiu-jitsu brown belt, never lost as an AMI, 3 belts as an AMI, hasn't lost as a pro. Like, I don't know. Q's time will come, but I'm surprised that it hasn't came already, if that makes sense.
Is those 3 belts including his kickboxing belt that he had?
Why, no, it is not. It is
Don't forget
not.
about
He has 4.
And by the way, that kickboxing event, he fought twice in one night to win that belt. So
Yeah.
so that goes to his cardio as well. So let me get this from you guys. What was your fight of the night then?
Personally speaking,
I'm putting you guys on the spot.
I touched on this earlier. My fight of the night was Q and Caleb. That was the best expression of mixed martial arts we saw on the card. It really was. It had everything. Both guys stood up. Both guys landed a couple big shots. Both guys landed a takedown. We saw a lot of great jiu-jitsu, saw a lot of great clinch work along the cage. Like, that fight to me was the best expression of mixed martial arts on the card. And because of that, I'm going to give them fight of the night.
Okay. Wade, what was your fight of the night, buddy?
Not to beat a dead horse, but yeah, the same. Like, it was a great display of why they were pros and why, and like a good representation of MMA, mixed martial arts. You saw offense, you saw defense, you saw the chess matches going in between. It was just all around great representation for the sport.
Agreed. I agree with both of you. Kevin, how about you?
Dang, man. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but yeah, I mean, it really is. There's a reason it was the main event, right? And these guys did not disappoint. And I'm just going to echo everything they said. You know, we got a little bit of everything in that fight. It had an exciting finish. It had a lot of excitement. We got covered in blood. I mean, that is in the spirit of this sport. Was it the very first UFC where you have a guy painted his entire chest? It just says "just bleed"? All right, like that. What more could you ask for? But if I had to highlight a fight from the undercard, give me the big fellas. Give me Juan Silva versus Hurricane Osborne, and those unique angled strikes and that incredibly timed lead left hook, I might add, to win via knockout. That one was another good one.
Yeah, I will agree with all of you guys. I think we came up with the fight of the night because I was going to say the same thing. Quentin and Caleb had my fight of the night because it was just the best demonstration of mixed martial arts, high level fighting, stand up, ground. Everything was just wonderful. So again, congratulations, Q, on going 4-0 on that. Now, what about your knockout of the evening? Because we've got 2 of them, but who was it? Who was your knockout of the night? We'll start with Clayton.
All right, guys. All right. I get it. Everybody likes to see the big guys fall. I get it. I'm a heavyweight fan. I understand. Seth Peoples threw a nuke and it landed. Like that was awesome, dude. Are you kidding me? Loaded up a right hand. It almost looked like he pulled it back a little bit and then threw it over the top. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. He's got my KO of the night for sure.
Yeah, he threw everything.
Wait.
I gotta go with the big boys. That was just disrespectful. That head push, that sealed the deal for me.
I get
it. Kev, what about you?
Well, you already know mine. I'm going with the big boys, and I will just retroactively, since I got this wrong and I didn't know we were going to have the KO of the night right after, let me highlight the very first fight of the night as my runner-up to Q and the Carrot. Because if you want to talk about a great example of the sport of mixed martial arts, all the different things that Will Chow tried to do from his back, Clayton touched on the rubber guard and just all of that stuff. That was another great example of a full-on mixed martial arts, some highly talented amateurs there. So that's what I said for fight of the night as my runner-up, of course. And my knockout, we'll go back. I got that right. Nailed it. Perfect landing. it's going to be the big boys for me. Juan Silva with the lead left hook.
It was tough for me to decide, but I'm sorry, Clayton. I'm going to have to go with these guys because it was just the push that got me. It was the push after the knockout that got me. It was that get out of here. Bring on the
You guys can be
numbers.
wrong together. It's okay.
It's that iconic moment. Does anybody even remember? There's that iconic Ali pose that we've all seen a million times. Anybody remember the punch that he knocked him out with?
He didn't land the punch. Sonny Liston took a dive. Look it up. I'll be that guy.
Oh shoot! Of course. There's another hot take from Clayton. Everybody, another hot take from Clayton.
Hey, that's proven. That's proven. For those of you who don't know, Sonny Liston had ties to the mob. He probably owed people a lot of money. I think he threw the fight and bet against himself. The first time, I think Ali legitimately beat him, but that second one, I've watched this footage a million times. I cannot see the punch. One guy's opinion. I don't know. Maybe Ali hit that hard. He wasn't really a power punching guy. But, said what I said. I'm going to throw it out there. Everyone review the footage for yourself and drop a comment next to it.
It had some Paul brother vibe to it, is what you're telling me.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Sonny was biting his glove half the fight. Just, I can't hit this
All right,
guy.
last one. What was your guys' submission of the evening? I already have mine locked in. What about you, Clayton? What was your submission of the evening?
Colton Hensley. Colton Hensley, absolutely.
Rear naked choke.
Yes, I loved that submission. I really did. Both guys came out. James is a tough dude, like we talked about in the pre-show. He had 5 fights in 2024. Like that's not a light workload by any means. So
No.
he's going to get in there and he's going to bring it. And Colton Hensley looked great. I'm going to throw this out there because I don't know if either of these guys are watching the show here tonight. If I could book a fight we're going to say the Braden Benson fight doesn't happen for whatever reason, can't make a defense, whatever. If I'm a promoter, I'm going to put Colton Hensley against Gates Cook. I love that fight. I love that fight.
Ooh.
That makes a ton of sense to me. You know, Colton moved up to 3-1, I think, and Gates fought a tough fight last weekend at LFA. So both guys would be on roughly the same time frame. And we already know Gates is going to bring it. We've seen him kickbox, we've seen him box, and obviously we've seen him in MMA. And Colton Hensley really impressed me, man. I was very, very, very impressed with him. So I love that fight. Promoters, do your thing, but that's just as an added piece. That's the next fight I would make if the Braden Benson fight.
I don't know. It might be tough getting old Sniper on a card now that he's been on LFA. So it could be difficult, but we'll see what we can't do. Wade, what was your submission of the night?
I think I'm going to go with Bryson Jones. Just debut coming out there and just looking for a fight. Looking to put hands. Then he found his opportunity with the guillotine and took that opportunity. Like, it was a great debut for him. Close second, though, only because I can't pick two or pick the same one for two. Quentin Richards, that armbar was wild. How that happened.
That guy I know.
That guy I know.
And Kevin, what about you? What was your submission?
Well, guys, I'm going to have to talk to you after the show because I'm pretty sure Wade stole my notes on this one, and I have a grievance to file. I, too, am going to go with the debuting Bryson Jones. Very impressive, not only just the first round work, but the fact that he came out the second round with a plan, executed on that plan very quickly. And as I touched on before, I was very impressed upstairs with the fist combo and then threw a heavy knee to the body and then immediately slapped that guillotine on, turned it into a mount. Just very impressive for a debuting fighter to just have that wherewithal in the ring. To say and to execute a game plan. So we've talked a bit about the debuting factors, and Colton is here. Awesome,
great fight, man. We're ready to have you back in May.
Yes, sir.
Yep. But I'm gonna go. just because I like the mounted guillotine, I'm gonna have to go with Bryson Jones. That's what I liked. I like that submission. Hard one to get, it really is, but especially as a debuter to get that. So that is why that was my submission of the night. So I just want to thank all of the fighters and the ones that are here listening. Thank you guys for jumping on the card, fighting, putting on a fantastic show, not only for us here, but for everybody who watched worldwide, because we had a lot of pay-per-views that got sold. So again, we appreciate you guys putting on a fantastic show. It was wonderful. I love it all. If I could, I'd get you guys all back on the same card again, because we all know that it would be fireworks.
Run it
once
back.
Once again. So
like Carnage 2, Revenge.
There we go. There we go.
And so just for everyone that's just now tuning in, Alex Ryle will be joining us next week on Carnage Media. Carnage Unleashed here on Carnage Media. So let's send us out here. Clayton, where can they find you, buddy?
You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Right there. C Scalina 12. Give me a follow. You guys can follow my podcast, the Hot Take Sports Podcast. That's a little all sports show that I do with some of my friends. Hot Take Sports 16, all your social media platforms. Check us out. Kev, where can the people find you?
Well, of course, you can find me and the boys talking ball on the Bite Size Sports YouTube channel. But for this week especially, most importantly, you can find me doing the commentary for our newest program, Benchmark Pro Wrestling. So don't worry, none of you non-wrestling fans, you might not have to sit through as many wrestling minutes, but for those of you who love the squared circle, we've got you more than covered with individual matches coming out all throughout the rest of the week, and the main card will be out very soon. So go check out the main event, the Unchained King Brandon Day and RJ Flores taking on Gideon Hayes and Austin Elm. It's a hell of a matchup, a lot of history between these four in a very short time. So go check it out on the YouTube channel right now and be on the lookout for the next match, which will be published shortly after the end of this stream. So Wade, what about you, sir? Where can the good folks at home find you?
Yes, I was right here. Carnage Unleashed Wednesdays. Thought today was Tuesday for some reason. Wednesdays at 7:30, as well as check out CarnageMediaPPV.com. If you like these clips and us talking about these fights, we have a fight club where you can subscribe and you get all the fight cards of this year. So if you want to take a look for yourself, you can find that on our website and whatever's coming up next. So if you want the download on everything, CarnageMediaPPV.com.
And make sure to stay tuned, because we will start posting all of these fights this Friday. We'll be dropping Quentin Richards' win over Caleb Contreras on Friday. So keep a lookout for that video. We will have that posted and ready for you guys to watch the whole thing unfold right there on your phone or on your computer, wherever it is you guys like to watch these fights at. So again,
hey, there we go.
There we go.
Lock it in. Let's go.
I will,
Brennan,
I will be in
seriously.
contact to schedule a date with you to get you on here, because we've got a lot of questions. A lot of people, they want a piece of you now that you've got some hardware. And I want to see what your thoughts are on it. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, we'll be posting more stuff, more fights to come your way, and this whole card will be out. Hopefully all of it will be out in the next, starting on Friday, next 10 days, because we will release one each day. And again, check out Kevin here while he is talking about all his wrestling stuff, because I know he's a little disappointed he didn't get to talk the last 2 weeks about his wrestling. I'm sorry, Kev. I know you like talking about it, but we didn't have any time.
Honestly, BPW cured me. I'm no longer just some podcast mark. I'm in the business. So now it's an insider podcast when you do get a chance to check out the Wrestling Minute.
Now, I do have one last question. I said I was going to save this for the end. What is your thoughts, Kevin, on PFL offering John the Bone Jones, $50 million to fight Francis Ngannou.
You know, Zach, $50 million is an awful lot of money to get paid to poke someone in the eyes. I hope none of it's guaranteed up front. Can I say that for the PFL's sake? Can you make sure you get paid after the fight? Oh man, you always got to do this.
Anyway. I still like you, John. You just like cocaine too much, buddy.
Zach loves John like John loves cocaine. Yeah, I hate to do this.
Put that on a t-shirt. CarnageMediaPayPerView.com. Book it.
I said it in the pre-show, and for those, we have a lot of new listeners, so I feel like I should make my case again for those new folks. My frustration, it's not that I hate John Jones. I'm not mad, as my mother would say. I'm just disappointed, okay? If he weren't arguably pound for pound one of the greatest talents we've ever seen in the octagon, it wouldn't be nearly as disheartening to see all of the outside stuff. So on the one hand, it frustrates you because you're like, man, what might have been, and then on the other hand, you're just like, well, it doesn't really matter what you do if you're talented enough, huh? That's the meritocracy, if you want to call it that we live in. So I would still love to see this fight. My curmudgeonry aside, all kidding aside, I would still fork over the money to watch this fight. But again, do not pay any of that money up front.
Which fight would you rather, guys? Now, real quick before you guys go, which one would you rather see? Jones versus Francis, or Jones versus why can't I think of his name off the top of my head now?
Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall. Which one would you guys rather see?
Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall, and in my opinion, it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's really not. Here's why. I think John beats Francis. I am not convinced that John Jones can beat Tom Aspinall. I'm just not.
Neither is John.
I second that.
Well, you're probably right. So
otherwise, it had been booked already.
Exactly. Like I think that John Jones not getting booked against Francis was more of a money thing. I think him not fighting Tom yet is definitely him being worried about his legacy a little bit. So
for sure.
100% every day of the week, Tom Aspinall.
Pulling a Money Mayweather, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I get it. Like, you kidding me? This guy's like, how old is Tom? Tom's probably like 28 or 29, breaking people's faces, changing guys' lives in a negative way. Like, that's the name of the fight game, and John doesn't want to end up like that. I get it. I get it. I really do. That's the business we're in. But I really do think the UFC will get that done this year. Call that a hot take. Whatever you want. I think that one gets done. I think that's when the UFC can get done.
I second that. I think Dana's going to push that because people are getting tired of the heavyweight.
I'm people.
I
want to go to that fight. Like I said, if we can, when that gets announced, if we don't have a show on that weekend, boys, we need to try to go to that because we're going to forge some press passes for Kevin to sneak us in there. And Wade and I are going to have one of us is going to have a camera, the other one's going to have a boom mic, and that's how we're going to get in.
Yep. Just act like you belong.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that will do us for this evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next week at 7:30 right here on Carnage Media for Carnage Unleashed. Until next time.